one of the things that makes investing difficult, and one of the things that your audience has to try to understand, is that what determines whether something is an attractive investment is not whether the outlook for the business is good or bad. What makes it attractive is that it's cheaper than it should be. Now, you can have a good outlook and be underpriced. You can have a good outlook and be overpriced. You can even have a bad outlook and be underpriced. So my reference to cruise ships, what was that, Benny? 4 months ago.
Pretty much March, yeah.
Yes, March. My outlook was that my reference was, yes, the outlook is very bad, but still the securities are probably too cheap because they're, number one, they're probably not going to go out of business. And number two, they have a lot of assets which have value. So in that case, it was a bad asset priced too low. And it happens that many of these hard hit industries, travel, cruise ships, airlines, hotels, resorts, and so forth, even though the outlook is still quite clouded, the stocks have done very well. And, you know, today we still have to look for the things that we think are priced too low, based on the relationship between price and value. This is a very difficult subject. That's why most people shouldn't do their own investing. They should either invest passively or turn their money over to an able manager, because these distinctions are very difficult.
I totally agree, Howard. On your last letter, you ended with the phrase, "The odds aren't in investor side," right? And it's pretty much what you're telling us right now. It is a hard moment to invest.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. Remember what we started off saying. Because of the actions of the Fed and the Treasury to support the markets, I think, have held up better than they would have on their own. In other words, I believe that they are somewhat artificially elevated. And now, as long as the Fed continues to do what it's been doing, and as long as they hold interest rates low, asset prices will probably stay up. So I'm not talking about a collapse. But still, here's the real point. I think you're paying a premium based on the actions of the Fed and the low interest rates. And number one, how do you feel about buying assets at a premium? And number two, do you think it'll continue? Now, I think, number one, I think the Fed and Treasury will continue to take action. And number two, I think that interest rates will stay low. And that's why I would not, you didn't read the whole conclusion of my memo, Benny. I think what I said was the outlook may be positive, but the odds are not on the investor side. I do think that the outlook is positive. Our economy is going to improve. And there's no question about that. It's just that prices are so high that I think I'm talking specifically about US stocks now. Mm-hmm. Prices are so high that I don't think there's much room on the upside. And if there's disappointment, if the vaccine doesn't arrive, if the disease gets worse, if the economy doesn't respond, I think there's room for a decline and not too much room for gains. So that's what I mean when I say the odds are not on the investor's side. But I do think that the fundamental outlook is positive.